Perfect.
There we go.
All right, perfect. Welcome back. We are back for another round of the Roaring Lion. We usually have quite a few WA people and also a couple of players as well and staff. But today we are going to have our legendary from Youi and from Melbourne and also travelled all around in the state as well too. He is based in Melbourne. We also would have seen his in last year when you watched Brisbane Lions. They had his name as well too. It is Scott. How are you?
G'day, Reece. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Good to have you on board as well too. And I actually got to catch up with you last year for the prelim. That was a pretty good game, wasn't it?
That was a very, yeah, it was a very good game. That whole final series was just a bit outrageous.
Yeah, it was like after beating Carlton, it was like, oh yeah, we're a good chance. But especially halfway through that due to rest game, like our supporters in WA, some of them walked out. They were like, couldn't believe it. We're down by 44 points, came back, and then same thing again in Geelong when we were up, well, down by 25 points. I was looking at my phone, quick flights back to Perth, like, and then it's like, no, we ended up winning. So, where did you end up sitting in the Brisbane Geelong game? Because I forgot to ask you, whereabouts were you there?
Yeah, where was I? I was in. I can never remember. We're up sort of behind the goals there. Uh, just on level. Oh, maybe we were on level three. We might have been just up near the front on level three. Um, yeah, that's. But I can't remember which end. Um, Yeah, I'd have to have a look. But which end was Geelong kicking in the last quarter? We were up the other end. So I
Oh,
can't
yes.
remember.
So I was sitting. I actually, Ty, who's also from Melbourne, he actually got me some tickets for the cheer squad, 5 rows from the front. So I was behind the goals, and this was when
Yeah,
Rayner was kicking. So he kicked into
yeah,
that ball, came right into me, which was pretty good. So
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
reckon we might have been above the cheer squad. We maybe were level, may have been level two, but might have been level three right up the front of level three. So. But yeah,
yeah.
the GWS game, I was watching it with my mate Ernie at a place called the Glass House in Caulfield. And at half time, we were talking about how it'd be great to get Kitty back next year and do they. And, it's been a great year so far. And, oh, well, it's come to an end. And the next minute, the next minute, Joe puts on a clinic. And, oh, goodness me, what a game that one was.
Yeah, over here in Perth, we were at the Shoe Bar. It was the only finals game I didn't go to. It was I didn't personally I didn't want to go to Sydney, but that's but yeah, when I was over there when we were watching the game, it was the bar actually put the game on mute because the soccer started. That the soccer was on at the same time as well too,
Yeah.
and like the owner was like, "Oh yeah, the game's gone now," and a couple of our supporters they sort of walked off. They left the bar and then another supporter said to me, "He's like, oh, I'm gonna leave if they kick another goal." But then, luckily, it was when Lohman kicked that goal,
Yeah.
kept let us goal, and then we kept getting those goals, and then we're like, lucky it was like half time on the soccer because they unmuted the game. It was like the last 10 minutes, and that was when Joe Danaher got those 2 goals, and
Yeah.
we're like, no one could believe it. So the owner of the bar actually all bought us drinks, shouted us drinks, came over, congratulated us all us with the finals win, and it was that was crazy. But yeah, it was. I think although I think that Geelong game we went to was probably the best game of the series because I think the even though we smashed the grand final, it was kind of boring as a if neutral fans have found it a bit
Neutral
boring. But
fan, yeah.
the Geelong game was really good, I thought.
And I
And
think it was that last minute or so when I can't remember who kicked it, but it hit the post, and we knew that I think we must have been able to see the signs up on the boundary line, so we knew there was 30 seconds or only a minute left in the game, and it was at that point. I don't think any of us sat back down after that. We all kept cheering for the next 30 or 40 seconds, and then it's a bit of a pinch yourself. We're into the big dance again.
Yeah. Oh man, it was yeah, and I think it was probably the perfect game. They always try and compare the game how we played in the grand final, but I personally I don't think we're ever going to play like that again because everything went perfect. I was probably only 2 mistakes I counted in the whole game, and it just like everything just went perfect. So it's
Yeah,
very
I,
hard to
I
live up
like
to.
it. I totally agree with you. I liken it to Geelong in 2022, when we beat belted Melbourne in that first final, and I think that was the first final we'd won. We'd finally won at the MCG, and then we came back and Geelong belted us, and then they smashed. Was it Sydney? It was Sydney that year as well in the grand final, and I just remember thinking no one was ever beating Geelong that year like those two games. There's a bit of that in what we did last year.
Yeah, it kind of was exactly because we got smashed by Geelong, and I was kind of going for Geelong because you'd rather want to lose to the eventual premiers. So when we got smashed that year, and then they smashed Sydney, I was like, it was kind of right that we did lose to them, and then it was kind of like us because we beat them, they lost to us, and then we went on to smash Sydney. So in a way, it was kind of just like reverse, pretty much like you said. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then you also at the game on the Saturday night, it was actually worked out to be the most watched game ever in the history of AFL as well, to the home and away series, plus the fourth
Yeah.
most watched, including finals. And how was the atmosphere there? Because the second quarter when they came back, you would have been like, oh no, like
It was good. There's another stat too, which hasn't been well publicised. It was one I was thinking about before the game. Because a friend of mine, I asked, who works at the MCG, they normally have a pretty good hand on how many people are going to attend. They need to know for catering. And he said 78. And I thought to myself, that has to be a record for Brisbane on a home and away. Like that has to be close to the biggest. And it was. So 82, 326, I think, attended. So that was the largest home and away crowd that the Lions have played to, which I think is pretty good. Prior to that was 2019 against Richmond, which was about 76. Um, so yeah, a couple of records broken. And I think it's really important. It says a lot about where the club's at, that we can go to the MCG as a non-Melbourne based club and help pull a crowd like that. And I'd argue it's probably a lot more Brisbane supporters who are coming down, travelling down to watch the games, and they're more Melbourne people that have gotten on board again with the club as well, that have helped build that. So it was a pretty good game. It was nice to beat Collingwood, and
yeah,
they look. They're generally, I've got some friends that are Collingwood supporters, and generally they're all pretty good. But we're probably the same. We've probably got our supporters that you don't want to hang around. But because there's so many of them, they really said they were not happy with how it went down. It was good because there was probably about 40 of us or more, maybe 50, all sort of sitting in a group, and we all knew each other. So you sort of turn around and you kick a goal, and you might have been talking to somebody before the game about a situation that might happen, and so we're sort of high-fiving in the group and hugging and enjoying the nerves as well up until about probably, I don't know, what do you reckon, halfway through the last quarter we sort of was getting pretty close to being in
yeah.
the bag
I,
then.
I, I, I think it was until Bailey got that goal with 3 minutes left. Then I was like, oh yes, I'm comfortable now because you never know what happens these days. So it's like 5 goals is nothing now. Like so, I was still nervous up until then. It was a bit like in the grand final. I was nervous until Archie got that goal. Like, and it's like, but no, I think but although as I say, I wouldn't mind like. I was talking to you throughout the week as well too. Like I don't mind because I also umpire footy, and I was talking to my at the footy, and I was like, I don't mind 17 other teams winning, but I'm an ABC fan. It's like anyone but Collingwood. So it's like because of all our history we've had in the grand finals and that, and yeah, the supporters yeah, like they're yeah, and it's funny because it's always Australia wins when they lose too. So that it's good that the Australia supports us for at least one game a year when we play them. So yeah,
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 we
but
need Australia to stand up for the next 2 weeks, and they can really get those wobbles going if they lose. I think they got the Hawks and then Adelaide. That'll really hurt them. So they're two pretty tough games for Collingwood. And having said that, we got some tough games as well. I mean, Sydney's no easy beat, and certainly well, we got Freo away and then the Hawks at home. So yeah, tough road ahead.
yeah. And I'm not sure if you heard, but also Lockie Neal's going to be out for 3 weeks as well too. So he did his quad,
You,
and so
are you
yeah,
serious?
yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, so
I
I thought
feel like
you probably haven't heard of that news yet, but yeah,
no,
just
I
come out.
haven't.
Yeah, come
Oh,
out about 10 minutes ago. So,
you
but
know,
the
you
positive
know.
thing, yeah, there's a positive thing though. Is like last time he was out for 6 weeks, we actually won all those 6 games. Remember a few years ago? So
I do
and
remember
it's the
that.
one area that we are pretty stacked. So, and he did say himself this year, he's been taking a step back and letting the Ashcrofts go in. So maybe at least it'll give Ashcroft a chance to play his role, what he wanted to do. So
Yeah, a few years ago, I would have been upset about that, but we've got our depth is so good. Yeah, I don't know. Well, probably the team that went in last week, you'd think largely to go unchanged. Obviously, Froggy won't be playing as well, so we'd have to be looking at a who's going to come in. And that's the other thing too. That we don't talk about. If Collingwood has 4 or 5 of their players out, it's always we're full of injuries. But have a look at our back line. Out of the 6 that played on the weekend, and you take Froggy out of that as well, there was only two defenders that you would say would be in our best 6 defenders. So it says a huge amount for our depth. That
and
we
ironically, Zorko's technically not a defender. He's only played defence because of Coleman. So really, we've
yeah,
only have Andrews this year, really, because like Leicester's obviously, like I say, Leicester's out, Ainsworth was out, and like you say, the
Tony, yeah,
media always talk about like, oh, well, with Collingwood, they've lost all these defenders, but if we played a full strength, we haven't had a full strength team for about 3 or 4 years now. So it's like
yeah,
we had those 5 out last year in the grand final. So if you can, that it shows that our depth is a lot more stronger than some other clubs that obviously if they lose a player, then they're sort of like stuck. But because you look at Nick Dacos, when he got shut down a bit, only one possession when the going got tough, like whereas in Brisbane, like you can have another player that stands up, like, and each week someone scores as well too. For example, like Morris, he's in 3 games, 3 top 8 sides he's played, he's kicked bags of 5 goals in 3 times. So
yeah.
it's like we don't rely on the one person, which is good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think the Gold Coast game was an anomaly. I think Gold Coast they just really turned up. Every time we put the heat on them, they just amped up the pressure. I'd almost say they won't play again like that. Like that's a once a year game for them. They would have beaten anybody on their day. So you take that one out of it. We've been pretty consistent over the last probably 2 months.
Exactly, and also when we did lose against Geelong, oh no, not Geelong, against the week before, we came back and
Yep.
we smashed Geelong that game, and I was thinking like I was quite confident to bounce back against Collingwood too, because a lot of people when my tipping didn't tip Brisbane, and so I got a nine out of nine, so I was happy with that. But
Oh, you tipped Brisbane.
I
That well
managed to
done.
get
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I was pretty confident in that. They going on that though, there was a question from Kane. He asked a question, how is your footy tipping going this year?
My footy tipping. My footy tipping is going really, really poorly. In fact, I had a person, and I don't know if it's the same game or not, who was shocked and then burst into laughter when he found out that I was actually trying with my tips and was still dead last. I was going really bad. So I think I'd been tipping. I think we made a decision I'd stop tipping Brisbane because I couldn't tip a winner to save my life. So I don't know. I might
Was
be 70 or something at the moment. I could still be in the 60s. I don't know, but I have to admit I was genuinely giving it a go. It's just very, very poor.
yeah, like this year for me is a lot worse than last year. I managed to come second in the country, so I was pretty happy with that. But this year I'm nowhere near it. So yeah, it's like it's been so too even. I think like with the top 9 and bottom 9. So it's like yeah, the team that you think is going to win, then they lose, and it's like but yeah. Also, Akka has asked a question. Tell us what are we going to do with the team now Neil is injured. So I think we just covered that, which is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. That's look. I'm not too worried about it because like you said, we've got the depth. I looked at our A team in the midfield there in the last couple of minutes on the weekend, and we had Suitcase was in, Ashcroft was in, Neil was in, and Darcy Fort was in, and it's arguable. Well, Darcy's our backup ruckman, who's just he's sensational for a backup ruckman. He could get a spot in any team. So you look at Neil and you go, all right, well, it's no good, but that he's out for a few weeks. But it's a good question. what do they do to replace him? It's just because you don't want to take anyone off the wings. You definitely don't want to disrupt Bailey. He's been going really well. I know Fagan in his presser said something to the effect that they needed to just turn up a little bit, and put the heat on themselves after half time. But I thought he'd been going well. I suppose Sam Marshall probably gets a full game and Bruce gets a full game. Um, does Zorko get a bit more runtime in the middle or something like that? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I do find it odd that Bruce keeps getting subbed all the time because he does all these great kicks, and then they take him off after a quarter. I'm thinking, gee, like he's been kicking better than half the team, and like he gets subbed off all the time. So it'd be nice to actually see him get a full game. Maybe he's just maybe not ready for a full game. That's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, his kicks are pretty damaging as well too. So it'd be good if he can get a full game. And also, it'll be good to see that Levi actually play more in the mid as well too, because that's what he really wants to do. But I know this year has been having a step back, and obviously Fags told him like don't play. You got to play other roles as well. But at least maybe this may be a week that he can actually come more back into midfield a bit. So that will help. And Neil also said throughout the year that he's sort of been taking a back step as well too. So in a way, it's sort of preparing in case he does get injured. So in a way, it's kind of like hopefully works out well. And as I was saying to you before we started, that last couple of years ago when he was out for 6 weeks, we ended up winning six in a row. So um, fingers crossed that Ashcroft and Bruce can have a bit more run at it. And it'll be nice to see. I think they're saying that Dodie will be coming back for Leicester, although I'm hearing reports
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
Dodie, like yeah, I'm hearing reports that Dodie hasn't been the best in the VFL, so maybe probably be better to suit him in the AFL. What do you think about that with Leicester replacement?
Yeah, dude, I've been interested to see how he's gone. Obviously, he's been playing for a fair chunk of the year now, and my understanding is it's a confidence thing with him, just sort of working back into getting in and having a go at that level. And I sort of wonder. They say it's, what do they say? 90% mind, 10% body. Maybe just getting in there and having a go and it'll come back to him. So I'd love to see him get out and especially with 3 weeks left. Look at what happens when, guys get a chance in our team. So Gardner, we can't, having a hard time getting back into the team now. Gardner's in the team. If Dudo gets in, he was so good over at Adelaide and he's just had just the worst luck with injuries with us. Um, I don't see why. He's a professional footballer. I don't see why he doesn't get that white line fever, get on the field, and makes it really hard to let someone, let Leicester back into the side. Um, I think that's the culture that Fagan's created too. It's, whilst all the players are really, really, they're really good mates. It's competitive. It's, your spot's up for grabs every week. So yeah, I'd love to see
Exactly.
him come into the team. I've been waiting for him all year, basically. I think most people have probably been waiting for him.
Exactly, and I loved how the last few weeks that in the past we would play the same game style, but in the Collingwood game and also in the Geelong game, we played very different. And like over in the third term, like we didn't mark the ball as much, which sort of caught Collingwood off because Collingwood were probably expecting us to do the chip kick game. But I liked how the last few weeks Chris Fagan has like worked out ways to sort of like trick the opposition as well too. So like we're just not the stock standard chip play team, but I think this year they've sort of changed a lot of game style and they've done it on the spot too. So I think that's
Yeah.
also pretty impressive as well.
Yeah, they're a smart group of players. I remember last year when we lost, it must have been around the same time we lost at Collingwood, might have been around 22 last year, and was just before finals. Maybe it was around 23. And I remember watching the press conference and I remember thinking to myself, um, he knows he can only do so much off the field. The players have got to learn how to how to make the right decisions on the field, and it certainly was the mindset that I think he's brought into the team, and I think he's just created a smart bunch of footballers, a group of guys that can do that. Harris Andrews is a really smart guy as well, being able to direct from the back line. But if people have been down, met the players and had a chat to them, they're a pretty switched on group of guys that um, have got the ability to, in my mind, make a quick decision, put that decision in the context of how it will affect the team, and then decide whether or not that's going to be good or bad. Like you said, I think the what we've seen in the last couple of weeks, and even in some games where I go back to probably Hawthorn. The Geelong game was another one. It was, to me, it felt like there was a real, like they went through the middle so much more than I've seen them do in other games in that week. And sometimes it's just easy to not switch off or zone out, but just go the easy option and just keep going, bomb it long around the boundary. But yeah, they've got a pretty smart group of guys that can make those calls.
Exactly, and my family's Eagle supporters, so they're not having the best time of the year, but they've been jumped on Brisbane the last year and this year as well. And they always say to me, "It's like if only instead of like bombing it, they can just like chip it or like lower their eyes and that." And like
Yeah,
once we lower their eyes, we actually look a lot better than when we just bomb it to like just like it just makes it hard because it allows the opposition to get the ball. But when we lower our eyes, like the other night when Zorko kicked it to Henry Smith, like it was a nice short kick, like it was perfect. So it catches the opposition off guard. So yeah, yeah, I know what my family's going through. We had that obviously at Brisbane about 10 years ago. So it's we're
yeah,
never good at the same time as Eagles, but yeah, no, they've been watching a lot of Brisbane closely, and they're learning all the players now. So
yeah.
which
That's
is good.
good.
So yeah, yeah. And also with the Sydney, you're going to go to Sydney game this week. Is that right?
Yeah, heading up to the Gabba. We got my wife found some really cheap flights about, I don't know, 4 months ago. So we went, oh well, when can we, what footy games around that time was Sydney. So we're going up sort of Wednesday night and coming back Monday afternoon, just in case they had they locked them in for a Thursday night game. So
Oh
that
yes,
should
because
be
the floating fixture,
was a
because
floating
that's
fixture.
annoying. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll be. Again, I know you can just look at the ladder and you can go, oh, Sydney's right down the bottom, how'd they go on the week? I think they lost again on the weekend. And, you can make the
Oh,
easy call
Sydney
that,
beat Essendon on the weekend. Yeah,
oh, they beat us. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
not a highly placed team. I think they can't make finals now. I think it might be mathematically impossible now for them with 3 rounds to go. But I mean, they're still a good team. And if we don't turn up, um, and play our best footy, they can. There's not much of a gap between where we are and where Sydney and 4 or 5 of those teams are. And if they want to come and make a statement at the Gabba, they've got the ability and the skill to come and do it. So, but off the back end of that, I think that last year when I got to spend a bit of time with the team, you it's a real mindset around it, and everybody could see it as well with performances on the field. But come that sort of last 8 weeks, there was a difference in the way we played to the first half of the year, and you can see that how we're playing different now than we were in the first 6 weeks of the year. And my view is that we'll come out pretty sharp, and Sydney will have to bring their best game to beat us. We're playing 4 quarters of footy now. We're not really going through periods where it's a lull or we're having bad bad periods. It's if we're having a bit of a lull, it might be because the other team's really genuinely playing well. So yeah, and Sydney's a team that you don't want to drop your guard to.
Especially they've got a bit of mental scars from us from last year as well too. So like if we were in their position, like if we were the other way around and if they smashed us, I'm sure we'll probably trying hard against them as well too. So um
Well,
knowing
you're
their
right. They've got
mindset as
something
well
to
too.
prove. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and, and,
And
that,
and
and sometimes
yeah.
that's all they need is all the club needs. It's just a tiny little thing. It's something that bonds the club. And
Like
yeah,
Gold Coast
so,
the other week because they've
oh,
been smashed by us for so long, like they had to try and take it up to the big brother. So it's um Aka just said he played a really good VFL game last week. I'm guessing that must don't know who that is. That I'm guessing he might be talking about Dodie. I don't know, but
oh
who are we
yeah, but it
talking
would
about?
be,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
might probably would be.
That's
Yeah,
good.
he's probably a bit
Yeah.
delayed, maybe. Yeah,
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
that's good. He surely is close. And I mean, if Kai Lohman and Logan Morris, they're guys that have proven that all you need is an opportunity. Darcy Wilmot's the same. He got an opportunity that final series in 2022, I think, and
yeah.
I'd be surprised if he's
Yeah, against
other
Melbourne,
in.
that was his first finals there, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't think he's missed a game since. So he wouldn't be, would he be 20, 21 or something now? So, you just need that opportunity. So hopefully, yeah, Dude's spent enough time at the club now. He should know our processes and the way we play that he can just slot straight in and make an impact. Maybe
And yeah,
maybe it's
the
worth putting $5 on a goal for him for the game.
oh yeah, because he got a good one against Collingwood the other night as well too. So, and
He
it's
could.
yeah, and the one that and also about talking you were talking about the ladder before as well too. I've never seen it's been a crazy year because last year obviously we came from 13th, Hawthorn came from like 14th as well. We both came up from the bottom 8, but this year it's a clear gap between ninth and the bottom 9. But
Yeah,
there could be a team this year that's won 14 games and they can still miss the finals. So it's kind of crazy that like because I looked at the ladder from top to the ninth. There's only top to eighth is 2 games in it, and then you got 3 games between first and so Adelaide can still miss finals if they lose the next 3 games. So
yeah.
no one's
It's
safe at the
bizarre.
moment. It's
No.
yeah,
No, and
and
I think
so
I think yeah, I think we need to win this one to guarantee us a
yeah,
final spot. Because I've
yeah,
done the predictor, and each time I do the predictor, it comes up with a new
yeah.
result. It's
It's different changes. Yeah,
yeah. So I
that's why I
think
always say. And the media always says, "Oh, this is the prediction." I'm like, well, just wait until the end of the season because we all know what happened last year, and like, even this year's even more closer. Like you can't predict who's going to finish where. Like, yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, because I feel for Adelaide people who might be trying to preempt a ticket to Melbourne on grand final week, and we've been talking about, all right, well, let's get a ticket early up to the Gabba, but the reality is that we're likely to have a home final the way I've looked at my predictor in week 1. Um, but then there's still a chance that maybe that doesn't happen. Like I said, I've done the predictor a couple of times. Each time I do, I've had us finishing second, I've had us finishing fifth, sixth, seventh, third. So that's impossible to predict.
yeah. It makes it. It makes it. I think it makes it really good for the bottom 8 teams to watch, like the fans and that to watch how close it is. But it's not very good for the top 8 supporters because it's just like it just yeah, exactly. I was like. We like between first and fifth, there's 5 teams in
Yeah,
it, and it's only 1 game in it. So, and
yeah,
in a way, like a lot of people said our draw was a bit negative, but I think our draw actually worked out well because you see all the other teams busting their guts out just to get percentage, whereas we just need to win because that draw takes a percentage out of it. So at least it sort
it
of
does.
helps us in that way. Like, yeah,
Yeah, no, it does. It's yeah, it's a crazy old season. Um, but you've just got to keep winning. And I'm one of the few people go, carry on about the draws. It's not perfect, it's biased or whatever. It's not it's uneven. And the reality is if you finish on top, you win the grand final, you deserve to have. You've got to beat the best to be the best anyway. There's no point having a nice easy draw rolling into the finals and then come up against tough teams. It's we've played. Well, I'd have to have a look, but most of the top 8 teams
yeah.
in the second half of the year. So it's been a tough half of the year. But if you can't beat them, then you don't deserve to be there.
Yeah, we've played our teams we've played twice this year is Hawthorn,
I know.
Suns, we've played Pies, we've played Geelong, and we've played Dogs twice. And
Bulldogs.
Swans is our worst team that we've played twice, but they made the grand final last year, so technically they're not
Yeah,
that bad either. And then you look at Geelong, they played St Kilda twice, Richmond twice, and they had a home prelim final against us, and they get the easier draw. But like you say, I think they're going to not benefit because most teams have to play tough teams leading up to the finals, and you'd rather play tough teams, not easy teams, because they're going to come to the finals like last year and like come against a tough team and like, well, what's this pressure come from? Like, where's this come from?
oh,
So, Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. And, Sydney does something that we've been trying to emulate for years. They've been doing it for about 20 years. I remember first reading about it in about 2006, and they gear their team to be playing at this time of the year. So whether or not they're, what are they, 10th at the moment, and out of finals contention, or they're coming, I think what were they, second or first on the ladder like last year, their conditioning staff have worked to get them in peak condition now. So they're coming to Brisbane and they're coming in the best possible condition they could be. It's so from a physicality perspective, they're right there. It's whether or not they got it between the ears, the mental part that will determine whether or not they can stay with us.
Yeah, exactly. And is there any like functions going on up at Queensland this week for the game for Sydney?
Look, not that I'm aware of, and not that I'm a part of. If you got a corporate suite and you're listening and you're watching, and you're more than welcome to invite my family and I to it. No, we're just
Well,
setting up.
we have to get Nux. We have to get Nuxie involved because he got me some cheap accommodation up there for the Ealing for the Carlton game. So yeah, I've got
Oh,
to get a
nice,
hold of
nice.
Anthony Corrie. He's a legend. So
Oh, he's a
and
great guy. Yeah.
yeah,
I got to meet him last year, and it turns out that one of the guys I go to footy with, he's mates with a bloke who played like academy football with Anthony Corrie as well. So he's a really lovely guy. He's a really friendly bloke. Um, we go up when we go up. We don't go up that often, right? We go up a couple of times a year. So I do try and get tickets in area VIP. It's a bit pricey, but it's a fun experience. So yeah, we'll be up there on level two watching the game. And I did toss up whether to just go sit. A friend of mine's got some season pass tickets. I think on level one around the wing somewhere. But no, we'll hop up to level two and watch it from there. It makes for a good day. The gates open they open an hour or two before the game, and you wander in there and you can sit down, have a bite to eat and something to drink, and then sit outside. And what I do know, so for anyone from Brisbane, even WA watching,
yeah,
I wore a coat and I had a jumper and a shirt and a bloody, you name it, I was wearing it, scarves and rugged up. And the last time I went to a game at the Gabba at this time of the year was a couple of might have been 2023. And I remember wearing a t-shirt and shorts middle of August.
that's how happened to me. I was over there for not well, I was there last year, but the year before I was there for the finals, and I packed too warm, and it was way too hot with the humidity. Because like over here in Perth it's hot and dry, but over there it's hot and humid, and
Yeah.
I just was dying in the heat. Like it was so terrible. But it was like, and then but then last year for the Carlton game, talking about Anthony Curry though, I was sitting down, got to my seat. I was up on the second level, and then I sat down. I was talking to some guys. Oh, they said, "Oh, you're from WA." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me. I'm Reece." Like, yeah. We've seen you posts and stuff like that. And like, how did you come down here? I was like, "Oh, well, Anthony Curry got me in. Like, got a cheap accommodation and that." And then the guy says, "What, Anthony Curry?" And like, yeah. And then they said, "Oh, he was actually my coach at football. Like he actually played. He was our coach." And then so he took a photo of me with them, sent it to Anthony Corrie, and Anthony Corrie's, "Oh, there's Reece, the legend. You found him," and all that. So I was like, out of the whole crowd, out of like 40,000 people, I was sitting next to his teammate. So it was
You're
like
kidding.
crazy. Like,
That's hilarious.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But no,
Look,
and
it's a
also,
great
yeah,
it's a great community. Like the people who, if you get a chance, the players are just they're really good. They're really good people. And the women's team's the same. The club officials are great people. It's quite amazing that the club's been able to put together a group like this. You don't you walk in and you feel welcome. It's a great environment. I can see why people want. Draper wants to go up there, and what's his name from the West Coast Eagles wants to.
Oscar Allen, yeah, yeah,
Alston
yeah,
Allen wants to.
yeah,
That'll be
yeah.
contentious in your house over the preseason.
Yeah, no, it's funny because the Oscar Allen, that's right. That I'm not sure if you heard the news over East, but it was at the start of the year at training here in the Eagles, and there was once it wasn't me, I got tagged in it, but it was some supporter who was probably about 10 years younger than me. He brings a Brisbane Lions Guernsey. He tries to get
Ah,
Oscar Allen to sign it, and then it made the news and it went around, went viral and all that. Like, and I was just like, oh, that's classic. So he didn't want to
I did
sign at the
see that.
time, but he's getting a lot of Eagle supporters and that are very like saying to me, yeah, looks like Ireland's going, and yeah, so it looks like he's coming to Brisbane. Although now we've got Henry Smith kicking goals, I don't be good to have him
Yeah.
there. So yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
and
I
then
can't see Henry getting dropped this week. I thought he was great.
yeah, and also and I did see though Adelaide are trying to also talk to Sam Draper now, which is going to be interesting because they just signed O'Brien for 3 years, and whereas Draper wants to be the number one ruck, whereas obviously if
Right.
he goes to Brisbane, he could be like a number one ruck at least. So um,
Yeah.
it'll-
Yeah.
yeah, fingers crossed Draper can come. But like I was saying to one of our supporters the other day, you're right though because about 10 years ago we had like no one wanted to come. We had like about three players that stayed, and that was it. Now look
Mm.
at us 10 years later. Everyone wants to come up here because, like you said, the culture is really good. The seems like a family environment. Like when I went down to training, well, when I went to the VFL finals last year, I went to that the ground in the Springfield, and they said to me, "Oh, what's your shirt size and that?" I'm like, "Oh, medium," and then they said, hang on, all right." And then they walked into the where the team is. They gave me 3-player training Guernseys plus a bucket hat and all that. So it's
I
just
remember you
like,
posting
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's
That's
right. Yeah,
unreal.
yeah,
That is so
yeah,
good, though. Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's what they're like. They really value their fans, and I like that about them.
yeah. And also you're talking a bit about the Allen before, by the way. Are you going to come across to the WA game the week after the Freo at all, or?
No, I won't. We're getting a little bit too close for finals, and finals costs me an arm and a leg. Firstly, I feel for anybody who's in Brisbane that has to travel because that's, you got,
Yeah,
if we get to the grand finals, that extra bit of travel. But a family of five, and I think like last year, the grand final alone is a couple of $1,000 for two and a half, $3,000 for tickets, and you're looking at about 1,500-1,800 bucks for a prelim just for tickets alone. So yeah, so we've gotten to crunch time with the family budget. So, but
yeah,
we keep
and
talking about it. My mates and I, we keep talking about we've got to get over for a game over in WA. So maybe we'll pen one in for next year because I went to that new stadium that you got to watch Collingwood and West Coast playing a practice match about.
yeah, Perth Stadium,
Oh
that one. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, a long time ago. How long has that been open for?
Yeah, so 2018, I believe it's opened up, and we've only played West Coast once there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we always play Freo here, which is annoying because I want to play Eagles, especially when they're not doing so good. So it's like it'd be nice to actually play a away game here for a change. But yeah, it's
yeah.
but we always play Freo, and yeah, I do remember when we did open at the stadium. I ended up doing BBL Supercoach, and I won that week as well out of the country. So
Oh,
I got
nice.
money, and I was working that day at the stadium opening it up as well too with the cricket. Um, I worked with the Scorchers, so that was a busy time of the year as well. But it was a nice stadium, the nice lights. I was there for the 21 grand final where Bulldogs and Melbourne played,
Oh,
and
yeah, cool.
the lights was amazing because that was what made a night grand final. Because if there's ever a night grand final, you want it in Perth because of the lights
Yeah.
they have and all that. That was really awesome. And whereas I find the day grand final is way better for the MCG and that that way you can at least party afterwards. You don't have to rush off or anything like that. And whereas the Perth, I find like it's a different atmosphere that we got drink holders, like cup holders in the seats, whereas at MCG there's
Oh,
no cup
yeah.
holders. So it's like so at
Yeah.
least that's a bit of a bonus what we have over here. But we always do like a boat cruise as well too for the Freo game. Um, but this time around, a couple of events that people have been asking me about is the on we're going to go to the Empire Bar beforehand, before the Brisbane game, and it's going to have some players. We're going to have the Premiership Cup as well too. So
Oh,
they're
nice.
flying over the Premiership Cup so we can take photos of it over here in
Yeah,
WA.
it
So
comes in a big
yeah,
suitcase. It's pretty
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, which will be pretty cool. And actually,
Get
fun fact,
over.
yeah,
Yeah, because
fun fact,
they've
yeah,
been really good with the Premiership Cup. You don't have to wear gloves or anything. They're happy for people
yeah,
to enjoy it. So get over and
yeah.
get a photo with it.
Yeah, so that'll be pretty good. So that's a pre-game, and then obviously we'll get the banners finally back. I was speaking to Greg. We had Greg Swan on the boat last year,
Yeah.
and he was asking me, "Oh, when are we? How are you going with the banner?" Like, I was like, "Well, we're not doing the banner because we haven't. They stopped it for the last 5 years." And then he goes, "Oh, well, I'm gonna talk to the club and we're gonna put it back in again." So, yeah, I believe he put a word in for us. So we got the banner back, and then on the Saturday night we're also gonna have Cam Rayner and Darcy Wilmot. We're gonna have a Q&A. We got some photos and that with him on a Saturday night as well too. So it's a Friday night game. It's really odd because we're used to having a Sunday game, Friday night. So um, I'm gonna have to probably take the day off work. I'll be sick because I'll be too busy with the Brisbane stuff. So
Yeah,
and
no,
then
take the day
yeah,
off. Yeah.
yeah, because I'll be my nerves will be a bit nervous, especially Frio because you never know what Frio's going to bring. Like they can beat the top team, but then they lose to the bottom team, so it's like it's hard. You never know what they're going to do, and yeah. So if you ever get a chance to come over to Perth, like definitely let me know because we'll get you a ticket. We'll get you into the game and show you around the state. Well, seeing as you've been to the stadium, haven't you? Said or
Oh, maybe I haven't. Maybe I've went to the old stadium. I'm thinking now because I think it was a bit more than 2018. So no, I haven't been to the new stadium yet.
Oh yeah, well Subiaco now is just part of a school now, so the oval's still there, but the stands all disappeared. Whereas the Perth
Ah.
Stadium, that's got the 60,000 seat, and it kind of looks like the MCG, the Gabba, and Etihad all combined into one stadium, if that makes sense. But yeah,
Yeah, it's a definitely
yeah,
Colosseum shape. I like it, but yeah, they talk about it down here. I know some people at the MCG who they sort of went ahead and did a lighting upgrade there because of how good the stadium was in WA there.
yeah, and the you also get a chance to see the quokkas over here as well too, because we get the quokkas in WA, so that's another cool thing about being in WA. But but yeah, I know you're doing the predictor how it's changing. What are your thoughts on now where we're gonna finish? I know it's probably a very hard question to ask, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
it changes every
think
week.
it does. I think we'll have a home final no matter what. So I think if we win all three games, the next three, we'll finish second. If we lose one of them, any one of them, and I think we'll win two. I think we'll win this week, and I think we'll beat Hawthorn at home. I think Freo is a real touch and go, just given that it's the longest trip in football, and Freo are no slouch team. They're a good team. So I think we'll either finish second if we win three. If we win two, it'll be either fifth or sixth, like last year. So it'll be a longer road if we lose one. Um, but I don't mind that because I think we were battle hardened last year, and I think that helped us in the grand final.
I did a predictor, and I had us losing to Collingwood. Uh, Even though I
So did
tipped
I.
Brisbane, but I had us losing and then winning the last three, and then we would still finish in the top four. So I still think even if we do lose one game in the next 3 weeks, we should still finish fourth or in the top four, I should say. Um, that's banking on GWS beating Gold Coast. So we just need GWS to beat Gold Coast, which I think that could happen because GWS will need to win that game to stay in the finals themselves. And then you got although there's a way we can finish first, but it's going to be very hard. We need Hawthorn to beat Collingwood, and then we need Collingwood to beat Adelaide, which I don't think that's going to happen because
Yeah.
I don't think Collingwood will beat Adelaide the way Adelaide are playing. So,
No.
but yeah, it's yeah, as I say, it's very hard to predict. So yeah, so I suppose that if we lose one, we could still stay top four. If we lose two games, obviously we'll be out of the four. Um, we should at least win one of them, and then that will be in the top eight. So well, yeah, somewhere in the top
Yeah.
eight. That's probably the easiest.
And look, my view, and because I said to a lot of people last week, they asked me who's going to win, and I said I'm saying Collingwood because I don't want to admit out loud that I actually think that we can win against Collingwood because I did think that, but I was every time I said it out loud, I went, no, I'm insane. So I reckon we don't lose another game for the year, and we get into the grand final, and I don't want to jinx the grand final. I don't know who we'd be playing if that happened, but I think we win the next three and then we win the first final and the prelim and get in there. So Save your pennies
Yeah,
for all the flights and the footy tickets, and yeah,
yeah. Over
let's
here,
play on the last day.
over here in Perth, last year, the year before, this year I got flights a lot earlier this year because last few years I got flights a bit later, and they were
Yeah,
so expensive. Even coming from WA, it was like $1,600 just for a flight to get over there from Melbourne, and so I got it this year. It was about $1,200, so that's like cheap flight, but like the bonus is that Eagles fans probably won't be going there. But then I was at parade last year, and there was so many Eagles fans out there. I was like, "What are you doing
oh
here?" I was so shocked. But and then the Freo fans, yeah, because they can still miss the finals too. So last year they
yeah,
missed the finals, our third, and they missed it. So my plane was so empty because they didn't go across, so it was just me in the plane. But yeah, if you're a Lions fan over in WA, make sure you get your plane tickets, but also get a flexi thing because I got a
yeah,
$99 money back guarantee. So if I'm not flying over, I get my money back. So um,
yeah. Okay.
that's a sneaky way of doing it, which is good. And but at least for you, you can just drive down the drive down the road for it. So
I can drive to Kooyong and then catch a train to Richmond Station and jump off there. So, but like I said, I think we'll play at least one home final at a minimum. We finish if we finish second, I think we'll my calculations say that we'll play Geelong, which I think we can beat, and then we'll be in a preliminary final against. I did one where we could be playing, and then there's probably another 50
yeah,
possibilities, but we could be playing Gold Coast in a semi-final at at Carrara in the
if
second week. So I
so
think the way that
oh,
works is that we finish fifth no, we finish fifth and we win that game, and then I think the Gold Coast potentially finish fourth and lose that game, and I don't know, it gets a bit confusing in the finals, but that's a possibility as well, which I thought, oh, that would be pretty interesting.
yeah, because at the moment it's only been Sydney and Gidaressa are the only ones that have played in a final as a derby. Because you look at the West Coast Eagles and Fremantle, they've been so like they've been up at the top at the same time, but
Yeah.
they've sort of been on the other side of the draw. But like as a neutral, it would be nice to see an Eagles Freo play because knowing their hatred for each other would be good to see. But like Sydney did the rest, so it'd be kind of like Brisbane and Gold Coast. Like I think this is the first time ever that both teams, because Gold Coast hasn't made the finals yet, so it'd be the first time they would potentially play each other. And yeah,
Yes.
that would be quite massive too.
That would be huge, and it would set up the first. I would be surprised if they didn't have a Q clash to open the season if that happened, because it would knock one of them out of the finals.
Yeah,
So, yeah, yeah. Anyway,
yeah, yeah,
lots of different scenarios, lots of speculating. And you know what? That's the best part about football is the anticipation, the enjoyment before what actually happens. And you know, even in 2023, I had such a great day up until about 15 seconds before the final siren. so,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's the best
I could
part is the
see.
lead up.
Even though I'm an umpire, I could see that was tripped from where I was sitting too. So Lachie Neale definitely got tripped. I
Well, it
saw that.
happened again on the weekend, funnily enough, against
Yeah,
Collingwood. Apparently, the Cam Rayner goal where I think it was Bailey um, got a free kick, and
yeah,
Cam Rayner's picked the ball up and didn't hear the whistle
yeah.
blow, so he's called advantage, and Cam Rayner had no idea that he'd actually played an advantage. So it's probably lucky he kicked the goal,
He
but
lucky kicked the goal because yeah, see Chris's face was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But and then yeah, and then the Hawthorn game. Are you going to go that one, or is that that's Gabba,
That'll
isn't
be
it?
up there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll pass on that one as well. So
yeah.
I might
And
watch.
then
I might head
save
down
up
to the
red.
Glass
Yeah,
House. Yeah,
save up ready for the finals then. So yeah.
save up ready for the finals. Goodness.
Well,
So
the Freo game will be the first game I've been to since that grand final day. So it's like it's gonna have a lot to live up to because I've
why
gone from
haven't you
the
been to a
elims.
game? Oh, because you haven't come over
Yeah,
east to watch them yet.
no, I haven't because unfortunately I've been umpire because I umpire in WA, so I've been umpiring
Yeah,
footy on the weekends. And it's funny because I do about 2 or 3 or 4 games a weekend, but every time Brisbane play, I always say to the clubs, I'm not umpiring. I'm not umpiring, and then they know I'm a Brisbane supporter. So, oh yeah, Brisbane are playing. Then, yep, you're not
So
on
they don't
this day.
schedule
And
you
so,
on,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, and then like normally they come. Well, last year they came really early in the season, and the year before that. But this year we have to wait until right until the second last week of the year. So pretty much all our supporters are so fresh from the grand final that went over there. They've been waiting a whole year to see them. It's like a whole new
Yeah,
team, pretty much. It's like we've had
it
so
is.
long to wait. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, that's tough. I feel bad for you. So, because I complain about only getting sort of four or five games here in Melbourne, which by the way, I hope Swanee fixes that. He apparently he's responsible for the draw, he said. So, um, he can give us our proper 7 games a year in
Maybe
Melbourne.
give
But
us an easier game one time as well too. We've had the hardest score 3 years in a row now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Please,
Yeah,
Swanee, come on.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, it's tough over there, isn't it? You get to see your team. If you're not West Coast, you get to see, or Freo, you get to see your team maybe once a year. So, and these days they don't really send them over for the practice games. They send them to Sydney, and they play Sydney and Gold Coast. So, yeah,
and
yeah,
plus
I should.
Adelaide's got gather round, so they get a bonus
Yeah,
2 games, which is good. Whereas we don't have a gather round. The only thing we had this year was the Indigenous game, so I was at that
yeah,
game, and then so I saw Kitty Coleman, I saw Charlie Cameron and Archie in that game. So it kind of felt like a bit of a miniature Brisbane team, but it was only 3 players, and I
yeah,
saw Nuxie there as well. So it was pretty cool. We that game was pretty good, but that's why I made sure I wanted to go to that game because I knew I wasn't going to see them until the end of the year. So I was like, yeah, so it's yeah, having the elim, the prelim, and then the grand final from those to the Freo game, it's going to be, as I say, a lot to live up to. They need to play hard.
yeah. I think you'll get
Yeah,
that. I think you'll get that. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
they'll come to play. We're at the
yeah,
business end of the year, and Um, that as friendly as they are. When I got to spend some time in the change room, so they said to me, what was that last year? They said, "All right, stand there, and some of them will be, only if they acknowledge you, acknowledge them back." So. I had a few come in and sort of give me a nod, and Harris Andrews is a bloody champion, shakes my hand. But guys like Lockie Neal just had his headphones on, head down, did just walk
yeah,
straight past me. That very focused. So yeah, I expect that's what you'll get. You'll get a super
yeah.
focused team that's coming to win.
Yeah. Yeah, Harris
Mm.
Andrews, he's a legend. He always asks me how my umpiring's going and all that. And
Yeah,
at that
oh,
after
he's so
party,
good.
at the after party, he'd come up to me. He's like, "Oh, can we do a video and all that?" And he did that video. So yeah, no, he's a legend. And yeah, and no, it'll be good because yeah, Lockie will be back in against Freo. Well, no, he won't be back. He's out this week. He'll be
He's
out for
out.
3 weeks, so he
Yeah.
won't be there. So yeah, what did I say? What am I saying? He's out. So, he'll probably just watching. Maybe I don't know. I don't think he's going to fly then if he's injured. So. Um,
No.
yeah, he might
Do
just
we get
watching.
Muscles Robertson back in the team?
Oh, yes, people were asking about that the other night. Some Eagles fans were asking me, "Oh, if it's odd that yeah, because it's odd that he's signed on because he doesn't get many games, whereas if he went to Eagles, he'll probably be playing every game." So it's like,
Well,
yeah,
I think his mindset might have been, and it's hard, but he would have signed on thinking, if I can get a shot, I'll take it. But like you said earlier in the conversation, we're pretty stacked in that area, so it's really hard. Every now and again I see Sharpie getting around in Melbourne gear, and it's really good to see. What's his name? Is it Payne? Who went to Essendon?
oh
Um,
no, Payne's still at Brisbane. He's
no,
injured at
no,
the moment.
yeah. Who's the fella that went to Essendon? Oh, I can't think of his
Oh,
name off the top of my head, but
oh yeah, yeah. The that. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I had him in my super coach as well. What's his name?
yeah,
Um,
great guy, great guy. I can't think of his
It's a
name.
great guy, but I can't remember what
Yeah.
his name is. What's his name?
But yeah,
Um,
you see
yeah,
those guys
yeah,
around, and you sort of think,
yeah.
oh, so tough because they're good players. They're getting senior game
Jackson
time. But
Pryor, Jackson
that's it.
Pryor. That's
Pryor,
the
I said
yeah,
Payne.
oh,
Yeah, Jackson
yeah,
Pryor,
yeah, yeah,
lovely bloke.
yeah. Yeah,
Jackson Pryor went to get me a beer at the post grand final function. Really lovely guy. Went out to get it because they cut the bar off. I said, Jackson,
yeah.
do you think you can go out there and get me one of the players' beers? And he went out to get it, and they said, no, you can't have a beer. I think they just went, you're not taking a beer in for that idiot. He's had too many. So he came back.
Oh,
He said, sorry, mate. They've cut it off. So and then as it turns out, they all went up to Chapel Street and probably did the 6 a.m. thing.
yeah, because you come to that? You were at that after party as well, weren't you? You were down
Yeah,
at the that big convention center where. That's right. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
remember
The
that. That was
centerpiece.
everyone was in that one. That was good,
Oh, it
but
was a
yeah,
ripper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was
Uh,
but yeah, oh yeah, and we'll better finishes off. But what are you and so back in Melbourne, what are you doing with the Youi and all that over there?
oh no, 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 nothing with you at the moment. I just wear all their gear that they gave me, which was lovely.
Yeah,
So I got another shirt. It's actually the grand final one. But
yeah.
before the Freo game, actually, I should say for the Freo game, get down to the Royal Derby Hotel. So Kane down there is putting on a bit of a show. I think maybe Sam from the club could be. I could be speaking out of turn here, but I think Sam might be doing some competitions and things. So a big night down there on next, not this Friday, the Friday after. But
That's
yeah,
the
no,
place we went to for the dinners with the players for the Thursday night before the grand final. Is that the one, the derby? Is what you said, or
yeah, it would be. It would 100%. It would have been. Yeah, yeah, in Fitzroy,
yeah,
corner of what is it, Alexandra and Brunswick Street.
yeah, that's the cane that
Um,
was asking about the tipping before. That's the same one.
yeah,
Yeah,
I bet it was.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, he's a good bloke. He does all those functions over there, which is good. So make sure you get
yeah.
down to there, and at least this time I can just drive around the corner and I'll get there myself rather than having to fly all the way over to Melbourne. But
Yes,
no,
yes,
definitely get a chance to watch it. It'll be there's two Friday night games on, but that's going to be the biggest Friday night game. So
yeah.
definitely watch the
Oh, is there
Brisbane
two that
Freo
night?
game.
Is there?
Yeah,
There's a
there's
double
two
header.
again. That's Essendon and someone. Essendon's playing someone. So um,
Essendon plays a
let
little
me
bit
have.
earlier, and that's why it's 8:30.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 6:10 game for us here in WA. So which
Yep.
kind of works out well because we'll be stuck at work if it's too early for us. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's Essendon and St Kilda 5:20, and then Fremantle and Brisbane at 6:20, which is 8:20 your time.
Yep.
And then it'll be 7:20 your time for Essendon St Kilda. So that's going to be a boring match. So watch the Brisbane
Yeah.
Freo game
Nah.
instead. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No
yeah.
one's going to care about that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they're doing 2 Friday night games, it's ridiculous, but yeah,
Yeah, well, the
is what
rugby
it is.
rugby league does it, and it works all right. But they have one game at 6 and one game at 8. But their games only go for 2 hours. Ours go for 3, so it does make it a bit more challenging, a bit weird to have that time slot.
Yeah, and it's like and especially in WA, for you at least you guys would be finished work and you get to knock off and have some dinner while you're watching it. When it starts at 5 o'clock here, everyone we're still at work, and then we don't get
Yeah.
home until like 6 o'clock, and then that's the game's already first or second quarter already. So it's annoying, but yeah, that one's gonna be 5:20 and 6:20. So that's why, as I say, I'm gonna probably take the day off work so I can
Yeah.
do all the functions and that. So yeah,
And
but no,
maybe half a day
yeah.
the day before because you'll have to get down to the captain's run.
Oh yes, that's right. That'd be because they'll be flying because it's a Friday game. They'll probably be flying in on a Thursday, so they'll probably have to do the training on a Thursday. Oh yeah, so I need to take Thursday off. I'm going to be sick as well. Yeah, but yeah,
You
but
came down
yeah,
with something on Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, yeah, I don't know what yet. Maybe COVID.
yeah,
Just say COVID. It's all right.
yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, and I was going to say, and how do we find you on socials as well? Are you on socials or?
So yeah, yeah. I don't do a lot on socials, but I get on TikTok every now and again, and I should probably put some more stuff up on Instagram, but I normally just post. We were on our way home from the Geelong game a couple of weeks ago, and Ernie, Oscar, and Cameron and myself, and we're sort of we go to most of the footy games together, and we had such an amazing night and a great win, and we were singing the whole way home. We had the whole train. train carriage going. We were singing the Bears song. What
Yeah.
do we sing when we come out to play? We go, and people are loving it and joining in. And anyway, we walked out of the MCG on Thursday, on Friday, Saturday night, and some bloke goes, "Oh, you're the guys from the train." It was a security guard who'd been coming back from
Yeah.
Geelong when we were coming back as well. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing I might post on socials every now and again.
Oh, that's perfect. No, yeah, make
Yeah,
sure you get follow Scott. What he does is fantastic, and over in Melbourne, and also in when he travels up to Queensland as well too. So is a great supporter, and you would have also seen the photos when the other year when the club had his name on the player Guernseys as well too, which is pretty awesome to see as well too. So
yeah, pretty wild.
um, and heading over to the when we get into the finals and that, hopefully we can get you on board again throughout the final as we lead up. Hopefully, fingers crossed, grand final week. But that'll be good to have you back again. But it's good to have you on board, and glad that we could have a good old chat today, covering the Melbourne, covering the Queensland, covering the WA. So lots to look forward to in the final few weeks of the season, and leading up to the finals as well too. So thanks again for joining, and do you have anything last things to shout out or anything like that? Or
Oh no, just strap yourself in. It's going to be a wild 6 weeks.
perfect, exactly. Well, let's hope we get over this. If we get over to Sydney, we'll be qualified for the finals. So let's go Lions, and see you all in 2 weeks' time or next week against Freo, and I'll see you on the screen this week against Sydney. Go the Lions!